hopes and fears written in gold. Truth appears as stories unfold. Let the cards turn around, mysteries we have found. In the shadows we dance. Take a chance, take a chance. Ghostly figures, guiding light, readers and seekers in the night. Hopes and fears, written in gold. Truth appears as stories unfold. Let the cards turn around, the stories we have found. In the shadows we dance. Take a chance, take a chance.
Good morning and welcome to the My Tarot Card O' the Day. Good morning, Maureen. You know, I'm sitting here trying to figure out how can I fit this in. So there's something I want to remember about this channel. And so it's like, I want this to be like the island of positivity. You know, because I tell you what, I surround myself with really positive people. And that's my family. Remember, the family, there's blood, and in reality, I don't talk to my blood family, and I haven't in decades. So we create the family that we want, and so it's just good to be around positive people. So my goal is to create that island of positivity. So, what are we doing here today? Well, I was actually listening to the cards like they're the sounds of the ocean, which reminds me to take that breath. It's my light switch. It's that light switch that says, oh yeah, it's time to relax a little bit and just see what the universe has to offer. And again, I encourage everybody to find their light switch, whether it's ringing a bell or lighting a candle, and just so that, you know, that Pavlov's dog theory, when we hear it, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to breathe. Because if you do it long enough, the body just, I'm a musician, and so, you know, I can learn notes on the guitar, but until I can play it and sing without having to think about it, because it becomes muscle memory. I've been doing tarot so long that breathing has become muscle memory. So even when a client sits down in front of me, muscle memory. Feet flat on the floor and butt comfortable in the seat and shoulders relaxed and neck relaxed. And I'll be reading tonight up in Hagerstown at Walloon, and it's just, I would say 50% of the time I get to look across the table at somebody and ask them, when's the last time you took a breath? And you'll see them go, months ago. So it's just that reminder to take a breath and get ourselves comfortable. Check in with the universe and do our daily inventory. See if there's any angers or resentments, or if there's anything to look at today. So if we look at it now, we don't get triggered. And I say that a lot because it also, again, it's got to be my own internal monologue. We say that enough times, it becomes an internal monologue. Do I ever get sick of hearing myself say it? Maybe as much as other people hearing it, but you know. So a friend of mine was talking about the 12-step groups a long time ago. And they were like, well, isn't the 12-step groups, aren't they like a cult? Isn't that brainwashing? And the best response to that is that maybe my brain needed to be washed. It is about taking the negative, and once you empty out the negative, you need to fill it with something. And if you don't, then more negative comes in. So the whole thing here is that if we can empty out the negative, what do we want to fill it with? That's the question. So, and I'm going to fill it this morning with tarot. Believe it or not, I'm going to be quiet. Just do this. So, I have 3 different stacks here. Each one of these is a different thread going out to the universe, each one a different thought or idea. And if we believe in the multiverse, it's like each one of these is a different path, because this stack will lead down one path, this conversation will lead down another path, same with this one, and I'm going to go with the center one today. I'm going for what's right at the heart. And I'm going to do our 3-in-1. And I'm going to take that extra breath. Okay. So what does the universe have for us today? And as usual, I'll flip them over one at a time like we're reading the pages of a book. And today we're starting with, so with the Marseille, I don't read reversals. So today we're starting with justice, which is about being clear-sighted. It's about, yes, this is how we feel, and our emotions are important and validated, but this is about, justice is not blind here. It's about seeing things clearly, weighing things out, and not having emotions or feelings get in the way. And here we have the 8 of Swords. So this is a sword right here. This is like the sword of justice. This is, again, seeing things unemotionally, seeing things just the facts. But what happens sometimes when we just keep getting pounded and pounded with facts? Well, 8s are about progress and moving forward. Swords are about ideas and thoughts. In the 1500s, who had swords? It'd be the kings, politicians, people like that. So that's why it's about strategy and thought. But when you get to the 8s, that's a lot of thoughts. 1 is a new idea, and that's great. 4, and it's like you've got 4 legs on a table and you can rest. But when we get to 8, that's a lot of steel to be carrying. That's a lot of mental load to be carrying. And so sometimes we feel trapped when we're just seeing things and it just weighs on us. And I love this card because you can see this even looks like a fence here. And this flower, look at this flower trying to grow. And all you can see is like the tippy top because it's like it's fenced in. And it leads to the 10 of Wands. So again, whether it's swords. So since I read the Marseille, which is the original tarot, this is the one that all the other tarot cards are based on out there. You see the modern tarot. That's the first justice that people were looking at before they made that deck. So in the original tarot, you have soft suits and you have hard suits. Soft suits are coins and cups. The hard suits are the swords and the wands because they can be, for example, used as weapons. Okay? Wands are fire and energy and creativity and all these things like that. But the way I like to describe it with the numerology, again, imagine you're carrying one log. And great. And then if you have 4 logs, you can kind of make a tent. And then you get 5 logs and things start weighing down. Imagine you're getting 7 logs, then 8, and you're carrying them all. By the time you get to 10, it's that burden that we feel from carrying everything. This is all those things that we feel like, if I don't do it, who will? I haven't thought about even sharing this with anybody because I have this task. I have all this stuff weighing me down. So today, as we're going through, and we haven't hit the advice card yet, but we get stuck up in our head and we see things. And it's hard to get out of that. And then we start feeling trapped. And so with that 8 of Swords, sometimes we hold this brick up to our face so close because we're so focused on what we're seeing and what's going on. It's right there in our face and we would realize if we just stepped away, we'd see if that was a brick and not a wall. Up here it looks like an insurmountable wall, but we step back and view things. But without stepping back, we feel all that weight. And we forget it. And then you come in for a tarot reading, and I ask, when is the last time you breathed? It's like, so I'm going to flip over the advice card, which is the Star. So what is the Star? The Star is what we used for guidance all through history. It's some of the first things that humans looked up, and then that's what we acknowledge. They've always been there as God. And it also developed into hope. Stars are considered hope, and we wish upon them. But when we are feeling overwhelmed, there's times where we want to sit back and we wish and we hope. But there's other times where we realize that wishing and hoping are not an action. But also, normally I would say about the Star not being an action. But this is one of those things where with this reading here, I see how important actually the Star is for stepping away from our situation and seeing the positive, or just looking for the positive. Turning it into an action, turning hope into an action. That's hard to do because if you think about Pandora's box, go to Wikipedia, finish reading it. Pandora opens up her box and lets out the evils of the world. But the rest of the story that people don't read is where she looked in there, and it was originally a jar, and there was one thing left in there, and it was hope. And hope said, close the jar before don't lose me. Don't let me out of the box. So philosophically, the question is, why would hope be in the box of evils? And it's fascinating if you think about that debate. Why would hope be? And it's because hope is what keeps us staring out the window, waiting, hoping. Hope is what, keeps us from actually maybe taking other actions. But in this situation right here, where we might be feeling all this weight of the world, sometimes we need to look for hope. Sometimes we need to look for guidance. But the thing is, and it's very important with hope, is that we figure out how to turn that into an action word. Hope by itself will leave you sitting on the couch sometimes, wishing. Hope, when it's an action, and we use the star for guidance, then we are acknowledging everything we're going through. We see things clearly. Yes, there's a burden, and if we don't do it, then who's going to do it? But if we look at this for guidance and we finally say, you know what? I'm going to take these steps, and I believe that I can make this better. Notice that hope becomes I believe. And when we say I believe I can fill in the blank, hope is not passive. It is now an action word. It becomes that verb. So today, we acknowledge any stress that we're feeling, but we're going to take hope and turn that from a passive word to an active word. And we're going to use it to set our goal and use that as our guide. Because 10 in numerology is followed by 1, which is a new beginning. So with that, I hope everybody here, I do hope everybody here has an amazing day, and I will talk to everybody tomorrow. Thanks again, and I will be at Laloon tonight. Hope is the jackal in a graveyard, just to explain why it might be an evil. I absolutely agree. Look at that. So, yeah, Maureen said, I don't want to impinge on the Positivity Island, but Herman Melville and Moby Dick characterize hope as hope, that jackal in a graveyard. Yeah, there's a lot of times where and that's how I kind of see it sometimes, especially that's why I fall back on the Pandora. But I think in this situation, trying to figure out how to turn it into a verb. And I'll tell you, Maureen, I really tried to read Moby Dick. I went through a phase where I was trying to read all the classics. And I love The Count of Monte Cristo. I love Dumas. I get to Herman Melville, and oh my gosh, I know your name is Ishmael. Good that, but then it's like I just floundered on that. So maybe I'll pick that up again one day. But with that, everybody, I do hope you have an amazing day, and thank you again for everything. And am I being too positive, Maureen? I know. And I will talk to everybody tomorrow. So take care. Thanks again.